Australia is one of the most dominant economic force in the world. The sustained growth of this economy, the stable economic structure definitely suggests that this economy is one of the powerful economies in the world. Yet, there is a silent problem that is creeping up and becoming a very big problem, which is the skill gap crisis. My name is Dr. Sayem, and in this channel, I talk about education, research, professional development. We also look into some of the key emerging industry trends. So in today's video, I'm going to reflect on the skill gap crisis. So firstly, we will look into what are the key drivers that are causing the skill gap crisis. Then we'll reflect on some of the key statistics about the skill gap crisis in various industries. And finally, we'll discuss what are the key opportunities that this skill gap is bringing for students, job seekers, and even migrants who are coming to Australia. So first of all, let's try to understand what is the skill gap crisis. A skill gap, also known as a skill shortage, refers to a situation where there aren't enough qualified professionals available to meet the demands of a specific industry or field. This imbalance between the supply and demand of skilled workers can lead to various problems, including increased competition for talent, higher wages, and slower economic growth. Australia is currently facing widespread and critical shortage in multiple sectors in Australia. According to Jobs and Skills Australia, nearly 36% of occupations nationally are experiencing shortages. So first of all, it's really important to understand that what are the drivers, the force that are behind the skill gap crisis. The very first reason why the skill gap crisis is increasing is the declining trend of apprenticeship. Apprenticeship has long been the backbone of Australia's trades industry. It creates a pathway and a pipeline for skilled workforce to come into the construction and into the automotive sector. But recent data shows that trade apprenticeship commencement have dropped by over 25% in just 1 year. Non-trade commencement have dropped 13.9% in the year 2024. So what's the reason that the rate of apprenticeship is dropping currently in Australia? Young people today face a tough choice. With rising living costs, many simply can't afford to commit to low-paid apprenticeship. On the other hand, employers are saying that they don't have the time or resources to train apprentices, especially when short-term work is uncertain. The result is a shrinking pipeline of skilled trades workforce. Construction sector, for example, already facing huge crisis to keep up with the rising trend of the housing sector growth. Another area is education versus work readiness. Australia produces tens of thousands of graduates every year, but the employers are still reporting that the graduates do not have the required skill set to hit the ground running as soon as they start the job. A large share of graduates end up in roles that do not fully use their training. In 2023, 38% of the employed undergraduates say their job did not fully utilize their skills or education. The issue isn't about knowledge, the issue is about job-specific knowledge. So the way the universities are designing their curriculum, there is still a gap with the emerging industry trends. So the universities need to improve their curriculum in a way that is consistent with the standard of the industry. Besides, there are important skills like soft skills which are missing a lot of the students, like communication skill, networking skill, critical thinking skill, which universities do not teach directly. So it's really important for the students to learn both the technical skill and the soft skill equally because they both go hand in hand. The disconnect from the educational curriculum and what is to expect in the work setting is creating frustration among the graduates. Graduates struggle to land roles they're qualified for on paper, and employers can't find people who can hit the ground running. Another major reason of the current skill gap crisis is the post-COVID migration slowdown. Australia has long relied on a very important pipeline of skilled workers, which is skilled migration. But the data shows that post-COVID, the migration of skilled workforce had slowed down. During the year 2021, when COVID hit the hardest the whole world, at that time, the net migration in Australia collapsed significantly. In early 2021, net overseas migration dropped, a net loss of more than 94,000 people in the March 2021 quarter. When borders reopened, migration jumped back again, but it hasn't got into the same level as it was during the pre-COVID time. As a result of the slow skill migration, sectors like healthcare, construction, and IT, which traditionally relied on migrant talent, are significantly lacking skilled workforce. Hospitals struggled to fill nursing roles, infrastructure projects slowed due to a lack of qualified engineers and tradespeople. Tech companies found it harder to recruit data specialists or cybersecurity experts. technology is evolving faster than ever before, and many of the Australian employers, they're really struggling to keep up with the pace. Data from the Australian Computer Society shows that Australia needs more than 300,000 additional technology workers, and in the current situation, Australia is not on track to fill this gap. Government sector organizations are also reporting acute gaps in data and IT capabilities. A recent survey with several Australian state and federal government agencies shows that 70% of the agencies report critical shortage in data-related skills. And the major driver of the skill gap is Australia's aging population. Australia's workforce is aging fast. Over the next 5 years, over 700,000 people are expected to retire, many of whom are skilled professionals like education, engineering, health, and senior management. This generational shift doesn't only mean that Australia is losing a skilled workforce, but it's losing mentors, leaders, and those valuable institutional memory. And unless strategies are put in place to retain older workers longer or speed up training for younger ones, the skills shortage will continue to widen. So what does this mean for you if you're a student, job seeker, or migrant? Well, while the data is really reflecting on some alarming insight and the skill shortage, it does focus on the tremendous amount of opportunities that are existing in different industries. So employers these days, they don't only need your degrees. What they need is real skills, transferable experience, and also adaptability with the changing environment. So in order to get yourself into the right position among the current skill gap that are existing in Australia, there are a few things that you can do. Identify roles in demand. Get certified or trained in short courses, join apprenticeship or volunteer pathways. If you're a migrant, leverage your overseas experience by aligning with local needs. And more importantly, build your digital skills in any industry. And this is really your chance to stand out by being ready to learn, adapt, and contribute. If you can rightly position yourself in one of the industries where Australia is facing the major skill shortage, you're not going to only get a job, but you can develop a meaningful career in that sector. So finally, to conclude, yes, Australia is facing major crisis, but every crisis brings some opportunities. So if you're a student, job seeker, or a migrant, this is your opportunity to stand out so that you can become ready to learn, adapt, and contribute. And if you are an employer or policymaker watching this video, let's just focus on people but not just resumes. Create a clear pathways for talents, students, and migrants so that they can come into the various industries where you operate, and they can contribute and create some meaningful work. Let's make skills powerful, practical, and personal.